Hey there, I hear it's your birthday. How old are you?
Well,
That's great. Would you like us to sing you a special song?
Hell no.
You got it. Ready, Senor Beaverati?
I'm ready, and the one, and the two.
You're the birthday, you're the birthday, you're the birthday boy or girl.
Hi everyone, this is Bill Apter, and I just finished taping an episode of Count It Out with Mike and Tyler, or Tyler and Mike. They're brilliant hosts. You've got to listen. You've got to see. Count It Out. Yeah, I endorse it. They've got the After Chat seal of approval.
Hey guys, this is Tyson Kidd, and you're listening to Count It Out with Mike and Tyler.
Well, we are live, pals, and welcome to a very special edition of the Bill Apter Seal of Approved 2-year anniversary edition of Count It Out with Mike and Tyler. I am birthday boy number one to Tyler. Tyler?
Tyler.
I was going to introduce you first for some reason as Mojito Mike, and I just kind of mixed the two together.
Tyler.
Tyler in the house.
I like that.
It is our birthday. Mike, happy birthday. It's been 2 awesome years.
2 years, man. Not only, it's kind of cool because this is coming on Thursday as usual, so it's the week of our second anniversary, but also we're recording this, as we always do on Monday, on the 21st of March, which is the exact 2-year anniversary of when we dropped our first show.
Yeah.
So it's very fitting that we're recording today. I like it.
Yeah, you know, and we've hit a couple really cool milestones this year already, man. We had our 100th episode a few weeks ago. Now it's the 2-year birthday, all tied in with Wrestlemania season. I got to tell you, man, the last 2 years have flown by and we've done a lot of cool shit. I'm really proud of us.
We really have, man. And I went back and listened to our first show today, expecting just garbage, but I actually really enjoyed listening back, and we've changed a lot. We were able to disagree on so many things on that first episode, and we actually said several times, "Oh, well, that's your opinion," and you know, I respect that, and we move on. That doesn't happen anymore.
A lot more fuck offs going on around these days, right?
Yeah.
But it's all part of the fun. And
I think I miss nice Mike and Tyler. I don't know.
I mean, who are those? Those poor souls are so. 2 years ago, we were so young and
you know
naive.
what? I'm pretty sure they died at the hands of Corey Stone. That's what happened.
Is that what happened?
Yeah, Corey Stone killed them.
Oh God, I think a small piece of me died during your Canada Day list a few years ago. But yeah, man, it's been a great 2 years, and I just want to say before we get going with the whole show here, if you haven't already, hit that like, subscribe button, man. Great new intro that you're seeing at the top of the show that Mike did here, and a big thank you to everybody. And I mean everybody that's either been on the show or helped us with the show. You know, special thanks to guys like Jonah, who've been there from day one almost with us, and you know, Anthony and Jay and Tyrone, who are part of the team, Bronwyn Billington, who's a good friend of us now, guys like new friends like Kirk and Stephanie Warmack, we really love, you know, all the people at Barry Wrestling, Holden Albright, Big Ben with Crossbody Pro Wrestling. Just want to say a big thank you to everybody, and of course Adam and Steve Bourne and Kerr from the Triple G podcast
for always jumping in whenever we need them and bringing a lot of great insight. Thanks to our regular listeners, guys like Rob, guys like Matt Stookram, Jeff DeHaan, you know, of course, Adam again, and a lot more from what I'm seeing. A lot of guys we don't even know personally, which is awesome. So it's really cool to see our fan base grow a little bit each year.
Yeah, absolutely. And hopefully we can keep growing it. So hit that subscribe button and help us out here. But we got a jam-packed show going here this week. Mike's got a really fun list that I'm really excited to get into. We're going to count down, continue with our WrestleMania countdown. We're going to give you our number 3 and number 2 this week. And then next week, we're going to be joined by Stone Cold Steve Bourne coming back again, which is going to be a lot of fun. And he's got a fun list planned. We're going to do the top 7 WrestleMania entrances of all time next week.
And pay attention to our YouTube page because we might be dropping stuff on there just as surprises.
Yeah,
we've got a couple interviews in the can. We got some other fun things planned. We don't know when we're dropping them, but it could happen anytime, any date. It could have already been dropped by the time you're listening to this.
Yeah.
So always pay attention to our Facebook page and our YouTube page because you never know. We just might drop an interview. We don't always have room for them on the show here. So we might just drop it on YouTube and you got to be paying attention, man. So I'll always keep your eye on that YouTube and that Facebook.
Yeah, absolutely. I pulled a mic this week and got myself COVID, so I might have some extra time to do some editing this week.
Yeah, I just got out of it and you're just getting into it.
And it's funny because we have not seen each other like in 3 weeks. So
no. The funny thing about that is I'm listening to our very first show today and we're talking about how I am in quarantine because I just got home from my vacation and like the country just went into lockdown 2 days prior. So I'm like, so unfortunately we're doing this over the phone, but don't worry, in a couple of weeks, we're back to normal and we'll be doing this in person every week. How many times have we done the show in person?
Twice, maybe three times tops.
Maybe 3 times.
Maybe
yeah.
3 times.
Yeah.
I mean, we were so drunk the first time we did in person that I don't even remember if we did it. Yeah. And I still have 4 shows that are archived that I would love to play one day.
No.
Maybe that'll be what I drop this week, a little bonus surprise. What fun that would be. But anyways, man, I apologize. My voice gets raspy and I kind of want to move into topic number 1 here, which is our number 3 on our countdown of the greatest, in our opinion, the greatest WrestleManias of all time. I didn't get a lot of heat from last week.
I was just about to say that before we announce what our number 3 is. I'm going to say how surprised I am. I got no heat at all about WrestleMania 17 being our number 4. The only real comment I got was from Adam, and he's saying that he agrees it's a little bit overrated. It doesn't belong being in the number 1 spot, but he thinks it would have been maybe a good number 3.
Yeah, so that's what I got from Steve Bourne as well. Steve Bourne gave me the same thing.
So hopefully we'll make Steve and Adam understand why it's not our number 3 when we pop this one at them.
Well, why don't you actually I'll rip the bandage off this one.
Yeah, you do it this week.
I know our number 2 is very personal and near and dear to your heart. So number 3, we're going to WrestleMania 21. WrestleMania Goes Hollywood.
Absolutely. I think this is by quite a large margin the superior WrestleMania to 17. I do. Match by match, from both in-ring and entertainment standpoints, I think, and build, to be honest, I think this is the superior WrestleMania.
Honestly, I would have made a case to even make this my number 1. This is one of my favorite WrestleManias of all time. I would have been
very easy to switch it out with our number 2. Number 2 is very close to me. It's probably why I fought for it to be number 2, but 21 could have been a contender for the number 2 spot.
Yeah. Starting right with the build to it, all those great vignettes of all the Hollywood spoofs, the movies. Yeah. You talking to me? You talking to me? Like the Few Good Men. Yeah. JBL and John Cena did the Few Good Men, which is good. Eugene did Forrest Gump. I think Christy Hemme did When Harry Met Sally.
That's right. Yeah.
And then Mae Young, I'll have what she's having, which I thought was great. I really liked all those.
Just when I didn't think they could really outdo 20. I thought they set a bar at 20 that I didn't think they'd be able to outdo right away. I thought we wouldn't get another great one until 25, but they outdid 20 by quite a bit. And just like you said, starting with the big time feel to it, being these vignettes, it really felt like it really was the theme of WrestleMania Goes to Hollywood.
And then I loved like the little things they did, like when WrestleMania first started, it's like the curtains peeled, you know what I mean? Which I thought was really cool.
I liked the idea of going back to the whole theme thing too. It's not even close to one of my favorite WrestleManias, but I liked 9, that 9 had that like Roman theme to it. And then they kind of went back to, with 10, 11, 12, they weren't doing that anymore. and then going here to 21, they hit that Hollywood theme, and then a few years later they do which one was the big time one?
22.
Was that 20? Was that 22? The very next year. So they kind of started doing themes again, and I really like that.
You mentioned WrestleMania 9, cheap plug. If you want to hear how I would rebook WrestleMania 9, head over to the Good Friends Better Enemies podcast on our YouTube page and check it out. Me and Tyrone did it. It was fun.
Might be talking about that a little bit in our list today. Who knows?
Ooh. Let's talk about this card, though, man. What a way to kick off this thing, man. Rey Mysterio and Eddie Guerrero.
Two of the greatest of the era. Mysterio in one of his last was this his last WrestleMania?
Eddie?
Yeah,
this was Eddie's last.
Oh, sorry, I'm sorry, I said Mysterio. I meant Eddie. This was his last WrestleMania.
Tragically, he passed away later that year. He was rumored to fight Shawn Michaels next year, which we talked about last week. Was it last week or 2 weeks ago?
Two weeks ago.
And obviously, a lot of people look at this match as a letdown because it wasn't their Halloween Havoc match. But I thought these guys had a great match. I really liked this opening match.
Your next match is the very first ever Money in the Bank match.
Yep.
Where do you rank this?
One of my favorites. I love this match.
It's top three for sure.
Yeah. The right guy won, which was nice.
The right guy won. The 15-minute time for it, I think, was perfect. Because these matches are always going to be a car crash. And if you go too long with a car crash, it gets unwatchable. So it was the perfect length. They did everything. They got everything that needed to get in. They had the perfect, not only the great guy went over, but they had the perfect guys in the inaugural.
Yeah.
Look at these guys. You have Edge, you have Benoit, you have Jericho, who apparently came up both in a kayfabe and shoot sense, came up with the concept. Christian, Kane, and Shelton Benjamin.
Yeah.
You have a little bit of everything you want in here. You got Kane for the muscle for the guy who's like, oh shit, he's not a high flyer, but if he wants to win, he's gonna fucking win. You got that. You got Shelton for all the crazy shit. You got Benoit just for the pure, aggression of it. It really had everything you wanted in a match like this.
100%. I think it's funny that Edge almost didn't participate in this match too. He said on many interviews that he found a ladder match. He said, maybe I just don't do WrestleMania this year. And this went on to be the turnaround that really shot him into that next level. I love that psychology in this match. I thought was really good. It was still a little bit spotty, as it has to be, but it made sense, like compared to some other ones. And you have guys like Jericho, Benoit, and Christian and Edge in here, and even Kane, like these guys are smart. You know what I mean? They made everything make sense. All the spots look good. I really enjoy this match.
Here's a question for you. We both rank it quite high as far as Money in the Bank matches go. How do you rank it as far as WrestleMania ladder matches go?
I put it ahead of 17. I'll tell you that much. The TLC match. I don't. TLC at 17 is my least favorite of all those ladder matches.
I could not agree with you more. I think it's very overhyped.
16, I think, is the best one they did. SummerSlam was probably the most exciting one that they did. And 17 was just they got time cut and it felt rushed.
This is the superior match, I think.
Next up we had Hulk Hogan, a fun little spot which I really enjoyed. And then a match that just gets lost in the shuffle of fantastic WrestleMania matches, and that's the Undertaker and Randy Orton here.
This is one of my favorite Taker matches, WrestleMania matches. If we were doing, and I'm sure we will one day, if we were doing a top 7 Undertaker WrestleMania matches, this is on my list.
Top 3 for me, maybe.
Probably.
I'd
have to. Maybe, it's hard.
Maybe
it's
top
really
5.
Hard. Top 5 at least. Top 5 for sure. Top 3 is hard. But it definitely is in the conversation. It's one of his best WrestleMania matches. And when I say he, I mean both Taker and Orton.
Yeah.
Orton, man, did they ever strap that fucking rocket on him at this point in time? I love the Legend Killer gimmick.
Me too.
This was the first time I think that I believe that the career was in jeopardy.
The streak, yeah.
The streak, yeah.
That near fall with the choke slam into the RKO. It's my second favorite Undertaker near fall at WrestleMania history.
Your first being?
Hell in a Cell.
Okay.
That sweet chin music into the pedigree.
Yeah.
I thought the streak was over there. I bet these were the only two, and that includes even when Brock beat Taker. These were the only two that I bit on the streak being over.
Yeah. Trish and Chris, you have me. It
was what it was.
It was what it was. Think of what era we're in. It's a 4-minute match. Could be worse.
Yeah.
One of the greatest matches in the history of WrestleMania.
Yeah, I keep on Big Show, right? Oh,
sorry. I think you skipped one.
Yeah, these two guys, Kurt Angle, Shawn Michaels, they just did something for 27 minutes that was like art, beautiful.
I'm gonna put it in. It's probably Kurt Angle's best match.
It's up there. It's
definitely up there. I don't know. It's definitely in the top 10 for Shawn's best matches.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say it's in the top 3, maybe top 5 for Shawn's WrestleMania matches. Top 3.
I put it in my top 5 for WrestleMania matches in general.
In general, yeah. I think I agree with you.
And it's crazy because these guys would have a rematch at the Vengeance pay-per-view this year that was almost as good, if not even better. Like these guys are.
Shawn kind of has a habit of doing that, eh?
Yeah, I mean, so does Kurt Angle.
Look at WrestleMania 10 to what was it? SummerSlam. Look at WrestleMania 20 to Backlash? To Backlash, and now this for he keeps doing that. He keeps outdoing his WrestleMania matches.
Yeah, it's probably why he's one of the best. You think it's weird for like both Kurt and Shawn because they're usually like the guys that make the other guys look better, and it's like how do you like, you know what I mean? It's just like,
I know. I'd like to say something somewhat controversial.
Okay.
The Big Show Akebono shit was actually entertaining.
I mean, it was a minute and it got a big star on, right?
You know what I mean? Yeah, exactly. And I'm not always there for the celebrity shit. It really needs to be something I like. It's hard to get invested in a lot of the celebrities they bring on for me personally. And I wasn't invested in this, but the match itself, it was interesting. It made me want to watch it. Like it definitely wasn't a piss break.
Yeah.
You think that was shoot?
No.
You don't think the actual contest itself was a shoot?
I don't think so. I don't think so. And then you get the crowning of John Cena finally. Right time to pull the trigger on this for sure. JBL had a great run as a champion and
great build.
Yeah.
Great build. I honestly think this should have been the closer. That's just me.
Oh,
nothing against Batista or Triple H, and I love the match, but I remember going into it, and maybe in hindsight, seeing how the match has worked out, maybe I'm wrong, but I don't know. I thought it was time to shove John in that spotlight.
I agree with that part of what you said, but Triple H and Batista had like one of the best builds, I would say, in WWE history.
With that said, I don't want to be the one saying that Batista, it wasn't time to put Batista in the spotlight because it sure as fuck was.
I mean, flip a coin on that one, right? I think if you would have had more months and like just the subtleties of Batista and Triple H going in there, compared to only a month of build with Cena and JBL. Like, I think that the company was definitely ready to put Cena as the number one guy, but the build of Triple H and Batista is definitely what gave him that main event spot.
This is both my second favorite Triple H WrestleMania match and my second favorite Batista WrestleMania match.
Ooh. I would assume Taker?
For both guys.
Which one? For Triple H?
Batista and Triple H.
Yeah, but which one?
Hell in the Cell.
Yeah, that's a good match. I need to rewatch this main event. I have not rewatched it in a while. I need to rewatch it. I don't remember it being great when I watch it, but I always get burnt out at some of these manias. So I'd like to rewatch that one.
I like it a lot. And it's definitely worthy of being on the WrestleMania of our number 3 of all time.
Absolutely. But why don't you tell the people what number 2 is, Mike?
I'm wondering if anybody's surprised because they haven't heard it on the list yet. So they know I've talked about this WrestleMania becoming a very quick favorite of mine. Of course, we're talking about WrestleMania 30.
Yeah, I love this WrestleMania as well.
This is the WrestleMania I slept on for 8 years.
Yeah, you missed out. This is one of my favorite WrestleMania viewing experiences that I've ever had as well.
And it's my least. I think that's why it fucked me up. I was in a bad, I know I've talked about this on the show before. I was in a bad space in my life. I watched a pirated version on a cell phone, in a shitty little crappy apartment that I was renting. So I never went back to it. I had no reason to until this year because of the list. I needed to go and watch some things. And it is now my second favorite WrestleMania of all time.
That's so good.
It is I know you didn't agree with this, but I even put the Daniel Bryan story as my favorite WrestleMania build of all time.
It's a damn good build.
Shows how much, and that's what we start with.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like we hit off right away. By the way, this is if Batista was my second favorite triple threat match or second favorite Triple H match, this is probably my 4 or 5.
I have to rewatch Triple H's matches because there's so many good ones. I love this match. I love Daniel Bryan. You guys all know I'm a massive Daniel Bryan fan. I love his tag team with Dean Ambrose or John Moxley right now in AEW. I love what they're doing.
It was a great way to get Daniel. People can bitch and whine all they want about Triple H. Oh, he never puts anybody over. He fucking buries everybody. Look at his win-loss. Look at his win-loss record at WrestleMania.
I was just going to say the exact same thing.
And you don't get to the finale. You don't get that great moment at the end of this WrestleMania without Triple H. Like if they would have just put Daniel in the main event, it doesn't mean nearly as much as him going through Triple H first. You know what I mean? That's what made that's what made the main event so special, because he already went through Triple H. He's already hurt. He's it's such a great story.
He beat all of Evolution in one night. Mm-hmm. Think about that, except for Flair, but whatever, right? Then you get a little throwaway 6-man tag match, but it was still fun. The Shield,
which is way more fun than it had any fucking right being, really.
100%. The Shield against the Outlaws. Kane.
I was never a fan of Corporate Kane. Just didn't dig it, but the stuff he did with the Outlaws was kind of fun.
I didn't like Corporate Kane in the ring, but I love the character of Corporate Kane. I just thought it was really funny. Then you got Cesaro getting his big moment, winning the first Andre the Giant Battle Royal with the huge slam with the Big Show. You get one of my
great, but I think the Andre thing should be a pre-show thing, to be perfectly honest.
But at this point, it was good, and this was a good Battle Royal. I'm glad it's on the pre-show now, but I thought this was good to put the first one on the card, right?
If I'm booking Mania, like this is just me. You put it on the pre-show. You have Cesaro go over. You have Big Show pissed off. There's an impromptu match on the card. It's Big Show versus Cesaro, and Cesaro goes over.
Yeah, you could do that. And looking in hindsight, they didn't really capitalize on this moment like I wish they would have. But like this was a big WrestleMania moment, and it's one that sticks out for me. I love the finish of this
because it's the Andre, and Big Show was a former winner, right?
So no, this was the first one ever.
This was the first one.
Yeah, that's why I think it should have been on the card just for the first one. They moved it to the pre-show next year.
So then WrestleMania moment later on, Cesaro body slams Big Show.
Yeah, well, we got the moment anyways, right? And I mean, the Battle Royal went, 13 minutes? Like, whatever. Next up is one of my favorite entrances in all of WrestleMania history, Steve Bourne. I hope you're listening to that. Bray Wyatt coming out at WrestleMania 30. Unbelievable. Like, the live band, the vibes. Like, it just... And we'll talk about this in more detail, I hope, next week. But in case we don't, I'll just say my piece on it here. It felt like Bray and the Wyatt family came into New Orleans and on like a Wednesday. And it's like, what kind of crazy shit did they do that week to end up with people in the skull bird mask? Like how did the weird dancers, like it all just felt so like Wyatt family authentic. Like what kind of weird fucking week did they have to get to this entrance? Like I loved it. I thought it was
and it was very them. It was very New Orleans. That entrance worked as well as it did because of where they were. He made the surroundings work for him. It was great. Special honorable mention out there, just to say, because I don't know when we'll ever talk about it again. A second favorite Bray Wyatt entrance, the year he fought Taker, went to the
Scarecrows.
I love that shit. I love that shit.
That was super cool. I'm with you on that. I do think the wrong guy won here, though. I would have put Wyatt over here.
Yeah, me too.
And then Cena could have got his win back whenever.
Then Lesnar Taker, man. Yeah. Going back and watching this match, it's far better. The actual, even before the finish, it's far better than I remember it being. It's not a bad match. It's not the best match the two has had, but it's not anywhere close to a bad match. I think it was just the ending was so shocking and so out there that people forget how good it was.
Like, I remember watching this match. I was with Kerr from the Triple G podcast, with Wilson, and with my buddy Garrett. And like, it was one of these matches where we were watching it, but we were all doing like other shit. You know what I mean? We're talking like, because we just knew Taker would win. And like, I remember when he didn't win, and we all were just like, what the fuck? And I like how they did that little delay before they rang the bell.
Everybody believed that it was a fuck up.
I think it's, yeah.
And I put a lot of that on Paul Heyman. His sell for that was so good. Even you look at Paul, you're like, oh, they fucked up.
No, Heyman, I think it's the opposite. Heyman was the only guy that knew it wasn't a fuck up, because he got right in the ring and was like, oh my God. Like, he was like, you fucking did it. Like, he was shocked. Like, I thought Heyman made this moment even bigger than what it was. But like, the cool thing was just like the buzz. Like, at first it was dead silence. Yeah. And then when the bell rang, the buzz
showed the visual
and then the visual, and then
did you know for about 4 years prior to this, they would, while they were filling the audience, they would show a visual of them testing the Titantron, and they would show like 19-1 or 20-1, stuff like that, to throw people off, thinking, holy fuck, did you see that? He's losing tonight. Fucking brilliant. Yeah. So they probably did that again that night, and people were like, oh wait, no, like so it actually happened. I didn't believe Brock was winning that night. You know, I believed in Randy Orton. I think I remember even believing in Edge, maybe. I forget.
I believed in Edge. I believed in Batista a little bit.
I believed in Shawn Michaels.
Yeah.
At least once. And I believed in Triple H. I did not believe that Brock was doing it that night. So that was incredible.
We're 8 years later. Did the right guy break the streak?
Yes.
I agree. And then we get to the match that
I don't agree with Roman winning a couple years later, because I don't think it did anything for anybody. But
I get why they did it, and if Taker would have went out there like I think he was planning on doing, I think it would have been really special. But I think when he came back, like whatever, a year or so later, I think it kind of took away from that moment, because that visual of him leaving the gear in the ring, I thought was beautiful. Me too. That's a good WrestleMania too.
It really is.
Then you get to the match that I don't envy anybody ever having to be in after the Undertaker loses the streak. So, you know, I know it sucks that the girls got stuck here, but it was a throwaway match anyways. And with AJ retaining the title, then losing the next night to Paige. And then, of course, the main event, Daniel Bryan, Wrestlemania, going over.
And you know what? And this shows how big Wrestlemania was, because they were able to get that audience back after Taker Lesnar.
And that's only because of Daniel Bryan. But this 100%. Crowd was tired by this point as well. This was a long show.
Much so.
Yeah, number 2 WrestleMania of all time, man.
Speaking of which, tiring out the fans, did you know they announced today that WWE has absolutely no plans to go back to a one-night WrestleMania?
I know. I get it from a business standpoint, but I fucking hate it.
They think we as fans like it better because each show is shorter and we won't get burnt out, which is fine, but I'm not digging the 2-show thing.
I mean, like for me, like if I go to a WrestleMania again, I'm going like to do other shit. Like I want to go to WrestleCon. I want to go to whatever ROH was doing in the past, and like this year.
And I'm doing the collective, so like I'm with you. Yeah.
Like for me, if I was going to WrestleMania this year, I'd hit up WrestleCon one day. I would hit up one GCW show just to say I did it. I would go to that Impact show. The what's the one? The multiverse one.
The multiverse one. Yeah.
Which looks unreal.
ROH is part of WrestleCon, right?
No, yeah. ROH is ROH.
No, it's part of WrestleCon now.
Oh, is it? I mean, I would go to WrestleCon just for the convention.
Yeah. It's on if you go on Fight TV, they have a full bundle. It's like fucking something like 15 shows. It's the WrestleCon bundle. It's expensive, but you get all the WrestleCon shows, and ROH is in there.
Yeah, there's some fun stuff.
I hope I'm not lying, but I'm pretty sure I'm not.
Even if you are, who gives a shit?
Yeah.
But yeah, like for me, like I don't want to go to the Hall of Fame anymore. Like I want to go to one night of Mania, and I want to be a wrestling fan and do everything else. Like there's shows that start at midnight.
Yeah, I know. The Hall of Fame for me depends on the people going in. There's still a couple people that could draw me in. Not a lot, but there's still a couple. I just wish it wasn't what it was now.
Yeah.
I miss the banquet hall feel. I miss the time where I would have gone in a suit and not felt overdressed. You know what I mean? It's not like that. That's not what it is anymore. And that's what I would have liked to be part of.
Yeah, I'm with you.
So yeah, I'm kind of with you on it's definitely not a priority.
And that's it. So tune in next week when we reveal our number one.
Yeah. Right before Mania, baby.
That's right. I'm excited for Mania. We'll talk about Mania next week with Steve, I think, a little bit.
Yeah. We'll break it down next week.
Perfect.
And now it's list time, I think.
Yeah, man.
Oh, before I get to the list, I just want to make one thing, make one comment, because I know you're a big tag team guy.
Oh.
I finished watching today the first round of the Crockett Cup. I didn't get much farther, so please no spoilers.
Oh, you haven't seen who won yet?
No spoilers. Thank you. I went out. Here's the funny thing. They were selling the bundle for $40. So both shows for $40. Or you could get a full year of the NWA package on Fight TV, which gives you every single pay-per-view from now on and every single thing they've ever recorded since Billy Corgan took over for $40.
That's a great deal.
So guess which one I did?
I mean, you probably fucked up and took the bundle. I get it.
So anyways, I started watching the Crockett Cup. I got the first round down. Now I'm not gonna review anything. I just wanted to give my first thoughts on something, because you're a big tag team guy. After watching that first round, I gotta tell you, there's 3 teams that stuck out to me. That if I was a company that I really was looking to build my tag team division, I'd want to hire all 3 of these teams. One is Strictly Business, Tom Latimer and Chris Adonis. Man, these guys got money written all over them. I wasn't paying enough attention to them when they first got formed, but they're really, really good together. My second is the Dirty Sexy Boys. This is JTG and Fandango.
I thought that was our new name.
Yeah, right. No, that's the Dirty COVID Boy.
Oh, that's right. Dirty piece of shit.
Dude, if you haven't seen anything of these guys, I know they're facing the Briscoes in the second round, so I can't wait for that fucking match. But if anybody who ever liked JTG or Fandango, both tag team specialists in their own right in the WWE. Now together, they're a great team. They're really, really fun. And if I had a promotion, I would hire these guys in an instant. And then you get to the current NWA tag team champions, La Rebellion. Dude, these guys are fucking money. One cool thing you'll think is very cool. Not only did they come to the ring with their current NWA tag team championship belts, David Crockett showed up at the show and gave them the original NWA titles.
I heard that.
So cool. Just think of the teams that have held that, from rock and roll to like, holy crap. Imagine these guys, man. If I was to describe these guys to you, it's the attitude and intensity of Guerrillas of Warfare, the GOD, but the entertainment and the charisma of the Lucha Brothers.
Okay.
All right. really fun stuff. You got to get into these guys. La Rebellion.
I'll try to check out some of their stuff. I got time in the next couple days.
All right. We didn't even talk about what my list was. This is fun for me, man. I can't wait to spill this one to you. I think you're gonna have some fun with this too.
Yeah, I'm excited.
We're jumping on the end of Good Friends Better Enemies. We're doing a little bit of rebooking this week.
Yeah, we've let Jay borrow our top 7 countdown concept a little
100%.
time, so we're gonna borrow the one from them this week.
I am doing the top 7 Undertaker matches that should have happened instead. I'm taking 7 WrestleManias and I'm rebooking Undertaker in them, is basically what I'm doing. Now, I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. You can say what you want about my order. My order honestly doesn't matter to me.
Yeah.
I wasn't focused on my order. Like number 1 is my number 1 because I think it's the best match of my list. My order really didn't matter. It's the reasonings that I chose these matches over the ones. And I'm very, very, very curious to see what you're going to think of some of these, or if you actually like the original matches.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for this.
My number 7 is I'm interested in hearing your take on this because you already rebooked this match.
Oh, WrestleMania 9.
If you go to Good Friends Better Enemies last week, you'll hear Tyler join Tyrone and rebook WrestleMania 9, where you put Undertaker against Evil Doink.
Yes.
And I'm gonna tell you right now, man, I loved it. I loved what you did with it. I loved the booking of it. I had already done this before I listened to it, and I'm like, you know what? He's got like that could easily be the rebooking on my list. I decided to stay with my original just to be different.
Yeah.
But I think I could go either way. I could go with mine or I could go with the Doink thing because I'm not going to ruin the story. I'm not going to tell anybody what you did with it because I want people to go and listen to Good Friends, Better Enemies, hear what Tyler did with Undertaker versus Doink. It's fun. I'd watch it. Anything's better than Taker versus Gonzalez. That's all I'm going to say. So my number 7, of course, is WrestleMania 9, and I'm booking The Undertaker versus the evil Papa Shango.
Yeah, that's not bad. The only thing that sucks about Shango at this point is that he was really cooled off. So you'd have to heat him up.
I was hoping that starting at like Survivor Series, they would start rewarming him. I mean, he's a year past one of the hottest angles in wrestling. If they would have done it properly, they could have made him a big heel.
Yeah. He
probably got punished for fucking up the finish. So maybe in a perfect world, if I'm rebooking this world, maybe he doesn't fuck up at WrestleMania 8,
Yeah.
And then that leads him to being pushed properly all year. And then they start a feud around Survivor Series era.
I think you'd have to scrap the Warrior feud if you did this because
thank you
because I think that's what killed him.
Don't get me wrong, and I would take everything he did with Warrior and do it with Taker.
Yeah,
I love the Warrior feud, the ooze, the curse, everything. I just take everything he did with Warrior and I do it with Taker and I push it to Mania.
I think Warrior just was too hokey about it. You know what I mean? Like, yes. Taker would have a different sell on it, like a more believable sell on it, which I think would be
be the first time, and which is probably what they were trying to do with Gonzalez. It was the first time you'd be able to humanize Taker.
Yeah.
It would be the first time where you were like, holy shit, he can be beat. He can be affected. And I'm sure that's what they were trying to do with Gonzalez because it's the first time he's facing anybody bigger than him. But with Papa Shango, it could be, I think, a different story. It could be he's getting him on this like weird supernatural level. They use more of a kayfabe thing to it, and the chemistry between the two would be amazing because they're best friends.
Mm-hmm. That's cool, man. I think if they heat Papa Shango up, like, it's unfortunate because on this card he was a dark match against Tito Santana.
Exactly.
Right. So you keep him heated a bit.
He doesn't get pushed too much off the card in my Mania either, because in my Mania he opens. I would open with Taker and Shango.
I wouldn't have a problem with that either. That's a question I'm going to ask you, by the way, going forward, is who would you replace the other person with? But Shango was on a dark match, so
Shango was in a dark match. Doesn't really count. I do have answers. I don't think I made answers for that for all of them. I there's a few I expect you to be asking me that, so I am prepared for some of them anyways.
All right, interesting start. I don't hate it at all, actually.
My number two, or my number
two. Woo.
Yeah, we jumped. My number 6. We're going to WrestleMania 19.
Okay.
While it's a great WrestleMania, please do not get me wrong, it's not a great Undertaker match.
It's not his best. The match isn't terrible though. This match gets shit on a lot more than it should. It's just not
by me.
It just could be a better match.
And I don't have an answer of what to do with A-Train and Big Show. I don't. I'm sure if I thought about it, I could figure out something for them. But what I do at WrestleMania 19 is I have The Undertaker versus Hulk Hogan.
Oh, okay. I really love Hogan McMahon.
I know you do.
And I really hated 2 months later when Hogan and Taker fought. I thought they had the worst fucking matches on the planet.
I just thought that if that storyline was moved up to Mania, it could have been better.
Yeah. I'm gonna say that I might do on this one. I might put Taker against Big Show 1-on-1 because they had a really good match the month before this in Montreal.
Yeah.
So maybe I would just move that match here just because I love Hogan and Vince so much that I just don't think I would want. I really like the match. I think it's a really underrated, but I thought
it's a great story.
I thought the Piper stuff was great in it. I thought Vince was the visual of him coming over the apron. I thought this was one of the highlights of the whole show. So I'm going to be skeptical on this one.
Okay.
I'm going to be skeptical on this one.
All right. As far as what do you do with Vince McMahon?
What do you do with
Vince? I have him in Booker T's corner.
Against Triple H and Flair?
Yeah. No, not well. Yeah, I guess Flair's there. Yeah. I have him in a story with Booker T. Basically, you know.
Does it still take Triple H 32 seconds to pin him after a pedigree? Or?
No, but what it does is it takes away a lot of the fucking bigotry and racism.
Yeah.
You've got because you could have Triple H say all the things he did say. You could still have that, but then you have this multi-fucking millionaire, billionaire in Vince McMahon having Booker T's back saying he's an idiot. Don't believe him. He's a fucking idiot.
I think pairing Vince with Booker,
everything.
Pairing Vince with Booker would be great. I do like that. I do like that a lot. I just wish, that there was somebody to give Booker more of a rub there. Because I think if they would have pulled the trigger on Booker here, it would be a different story on, not that Booker, of course, he's fantastic, like the King Booker stuff. But I think there was something hot about Booker T at this time period.
Yeah. Okay, I think this is the only time I'm going to catch heat on this list.
Okay.
By you or listeners. I'm going to WrestleMania 32. I don't like his match with Shane.
I hate that match. I hate that match.
You're still going to give me heat because I don't think you're going to like my opponent.
All right.
I'm putting him with Chris Jericho.
I love that.
You're not mad I'm taking away Jericho AJ?
I mean, I love that match, but I just think that it's a bigger WrestleMania match to put Taker and Jericho together, and they didn't do a lot of. They didn't do a lot. And the guy
I'm putting AJ, and the guy I put AJ against is a bigger match too.
And who's that?
One Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, who was at that WrestleMania, and I think it'd be a better spot for him.
Putting over AJ. What is this the one? Is this the one where The Rock did the 30-second thing with Eric Rowan?
Over the Wyatt family? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that would be fucking awesome if they actually pulled the trigger on it. But I'm with you.
But Jericho versus Taker, it's never happened at Mania. I think it would have been a great.
They barely ever fought though. That's why I like that.
I can't think of a whole lot of matches. Yeah,
I'm just trying to think of the card in my head.
I will pull a big spoiler here and tell you that no matter what. Nobody on this list beats Taker.
No,
I'm keeping the streak alive.
Yeah, until Brock beats him, right?
Yes, but that match is not on my list because that match has to stay in history.
This match was after that match, though. But I would.
Yeah. No, I know. I realize. I'm just saying, for if anybody's expecting me to be like, so then on WrestleMania fucking 12, I have Diesel beating Taker. No, that's not happening. My number 4. I'm going to get some heat from the Good Friends boys, I think, on this one. I look forward to it. I'm taking Cena to the main event at 13.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to get any heat from Tyrone on that one.
And in place, I am putting the hottest feud of 1996. And I'm making this a 1-year build to get us to Undertaker versus Mankind at WrestleMania 13.
I think that's a good call.
Now, you say that now. I don't know if you're going to like how I get there. I have Taker win Fatal 4, and he's the champion coming from Fatal 4 on. Not doing that whole weird thing of Brett winning and then Sid and then I like all that weird. So he's going into Mania as champion.
I think Jay rebooked Fatal 4. I did that with him. I can't remember off the top of my head. I think he rebooked it with Taker winning as well. And actually, this week on the Good Friends Better Enemies podcast, WrestleMania 13 is the topic. So, yeah, I can't believe I remember that. I just edited it last night.
So, like Mankind comes out, makes his debut the night after WrestleMania 12. Within hours of his debut, he attacks The Undertaker, makes a name for himself right there. He spends the better half of the year feuding with Taker. And then all of a sudden by WrestleMania, he's in a tag team with Vader. It didn't make a whole lot of sense to me. There's better things to do with both Vader and Taker. Mankind. That Mankind Taker feud still had legs.
Yeah. I think I would have maybe taken away their Survivor Series match if you're going to do them at Mania.
That's okay with me. Yeah, that's fine with me. I make it a regular match. I don't put any gimmicks on this one. It's just a regular match. But you believe that Mankind. What I didn't give thought to is how Mankind gets to the main event picture.
What? Why don't you just do what they did the month later and have him throw a fireball in his face? Like they had a match the next month at Revenge of the Taker.
Right? Well, no, what I mean is like, how did he deserve a championship match at WrestleMania? He didn't win the Royal Rumble. He didn't, you know what I mean? I didn't think enough of how to get there.
Yeah, how did Taker?
Oh no, that's how I have Mankind feuding with Bret Hart. That's what I had. I had Mankind feuding Bret Hart over the number 1 contendership shot, and Steve Austin costs Bret the spot. That's what I was doing.
What do you do with Owen and the Bulldog here?
I didn't give him the thought, but I
Furnace in the Font, man.
Furnace. There you go, right there. That I'll buy that.
They fought the month before at Final Four. Save it for Mania, or just because
was Yoko around? No, okay.
Or
I was gonna say Vader and Yoko would be a fun team.
That'd be kind of fun too. Or just because I'm Marks from the New Blackjacks, just because I love me some Barry Windham.
I would go for this little fun for sure.
I like this one. This is my favorite one so far that you've done.
Well, I'm glad you like it, because moving on to my number 3, I'm taking Big Boss Man out of that Hell in the Cell. Actually, I'm taking that Hell in the Cell out of WrestleMania.
Wonderful. And
once again, I'm having The Undertaker versus Mankind.
Doing it again, eh?
I am doing it again. It'll be Mankind, not Kane, being the first person to face Undertaker twice at a WrestleMania. But this time it's a very different story. All right, Mankind is no longer the deranged boiler room dweller. He's the fun-loving Mr. Sacco having ratty t-shirt wearing fucking Mrs. Foley's baby boy who fell off a fucking Hell in the Cell a few months ago. Okay, Taker is not the dead man. He's the Lord of fucking darkness. He's the leader of the ministry. He is the man who is being led by the higher power, who we still don't know is Vince McMahon yet, and is going to take over the WWF. Vince needs his knight in shining armor, and he tells Mick, he goes, you have to be the one. You're the only one who keeps going up against Taker, and you keep coming back. He did this to you. He did that to you. He threw you off a Hell in the Cell, and you keep coming back. I need you, Mick Foley. And Foley finally agrees. And because Vince is still technically a heel at this point, Mick doesn't bite right away. He doesn't trust Vince, so he doesn't go right away. And then it moves on. And finally, Mick says, "This is it. This is where we end this, Undertaker. This will be our last match. One of us is going away forever." And he says, "We've done a lot of firsts. We had the first boiler room brawl. We had the first buried alive. We're going to be I'm going to be the first one to face you twice at WrestleMania. All this shit, right?" And he says, "Let's have one more first. For the first time in WrestleMania history, let's have our first casket match."
Okay.
So because they already did a straight match. Now let's do the gimmick match. And they end up doing a casket match at WrestleMania 15.
I love the idea behind this. I really do. I like the booking behind it. A couple little things don't line up a little bit because Vince didn't start his feud with Taker till the month after, I think, is when he started doing his stuff with Stephanie.
Well, no, not exactly, because I rewatched this match recently, and they're talking on commentary about it a lot.
Okay, so maybe my timeline's off, but I do know that Vince and Foley just finished a feud also
because the corporation and the ministry were feuding.
Yes, that's right. That's why Boss Man and Taker fight. Yes, you're correct.
Exactly, and they keep talking about the higher power.
You'd have to do a little bit of rebooking though, because Vince had just fucked over Foley before that, so there'd have to be some changes going into that.
There'll have to be some changes to that. But here, I didn't get to my finish. Finally, at the end of it, they go, Foley's about you. I'm going to do a very recycled finish. We've seen this 100 times, but I think it worked in this stance. That's the end of the match. They go to open the casket, even though they've opened it 1,000 times. No one was in there. This time you open it, who's in there? But a robed figure, the higher power. This is where we found out that it's Vince, not that fucking. I don't know. It's hard because that's
me, Austin. I might have to fight on that one.
Yeah.
It's too soon.
Maybe it's him. But we don't get him. Like maybe the hood falls off and he's masked.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Maybe we don't find out it's Vince, but I want the higher power in. The higher power is the one who costs this Mankind this match.
Fair. I like the ideas behind it. If it was me doing the rebooking, I would put Ken Shamrock against the Undertaker here. Shamrock versus the Undertaker. Ken Shamrock just in a throwaway 4-way here. You know what I mean? Shamrock, you could have done, because Shamrock was also in the corporation.
Yeah.
Right. So you could have done the exact same buildup with Vince that you had with Foley and had slid Shamrock in there. He's a legit badass, so it makes sense. But I do like the history with Foley, so I won't fight you on it either, man. The only thing that sucks is what? The only thing that sucks is Foley was real out of shape at this point. So
I know. But he just had that King of the Ring match like a few months earlier,
and you just have to find a way for Foley to trust Vince again. So you'd have to do some creative booking.
There's definitely some booking that needs to be done, but
it was also the Attitude Era where that shit didn't matter.
Exactly. Not that it matters these days, apparently.
Yeah, well, fair.
Yeah. Before I move on to my number 2, I do got to ask you, Boss Man Taker,
awful.
Worst Hell in a Cell match?
Yeah.
I don't include the kennel.
Even still, and it's so bad. Boss Man was in both of them.
Yeah, it's probably the worst one.
Yeah, he got
up there.
He got killed at WrestleMania 15, and Kennel from Hill killed his fucking credibility in his career.
No shit. Yeah.
I loved the Big Boss Man though, and I loved his return to the company. Like I thought he was.
Me too, and I loved this stuff in the corporation. I loved
it.
They just kept giving him shit to work with.
Although he did pull off the whole Big Show, you miss your daddy. You miss your daddy, Big Show. All that stuff was fucking great.
Even the Al Snow Pepper shit, I thought was fucking good.
Oh, fuck.
Until the match.
I am going to do an episode of the Big Show versus the Big Boss Man on Classic Match Classroom.
Yes.
For Anthony to see that.
My number 2, I didn't give a lot of thought to the booking. It's just a match I want to see.
Yeah,
that's
fair.
it. Especially in the era. I am taking King Kong Bundy out of WrestleMania 11.
This is the one I'm having the hardest time with.
In his place, I am putting the Hitman Bret Hart.
Okay, not where I thought you were going to go with that. Brett's
like I said, I didn't give it a whole lot of booking thought. This is an era where I'd like to see them face. Sure, they had great matches in 96, 97, but I'd like to see them at WrestleMania 11.
I mean, it's better than what they both had.
Yeah, exactly.
Face versus face match, though. You're going to turn.
I think we didn't get that a whole lot back then, so I think it's okay.
Fair.
Yeah.
Any titles on the line, or just
did he have a title? Was Brett champion?
No. Diesel was, so but you could change things on the way in. It's a big match.
Could if
right?
I wanted to. It is a big match. It is a main event match, but at the same time, it's 11. I mean, I'll put this over fucking Taylor and Bam Bam any day.
I actually would have moved Bam Bam to fight Taker.
That was a thought. It definitely was. And then when I was reviewing the show, I'm like, I think a lot of people will be mad at me for taking Bam Bam Taylor out of it, because I think it's the only thing people can salvage WrestleMania for, because it was such a big draw.
So put him against Tatanka.
But also
or Bundy.
Or a 14-year-old girl.
Well, I mean, that's one he's never lost.
Or with both Taker and Hart, their matches are not exactly memorable.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, I love me some Backlund. But that's not a WrestleMania match.
It wasn't a good match.
That's a Survivor Series match at best.
Yeah, and they had a great Survivor Series match. This one, yeah. I mean, obviously the match should be an upgrade. I'd be interested to see how you got there. Would you do anything with Backlund on the card? Would you do anything with
I don't think so.
With Bundy?
Bundy, I would find something for him to do, probably, because I like Bundy. And I like Backlund too, but Backlund was 102 years old this time. Yeah, move aside.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah. Number one. We're going to WrestleMania 22.
Mark Henry, okay.
I like this match. I'm going to go on record saying I like this casket match. I do. But if I'm going through all of his matches and I'm looking to see what you could have done with him instead of what you did with him, I'm going to go this way. And I'm having Kurt Angle versus The Undertaker.
I'm with you on this. And so here's my dilemma that I get with this. And I need to know, what do you do with Rey Mysterio here?
I'd have to look at the card again. There's got to be a lot of shit you can do with Mysterio.
Well, because
wasn't that a triple threat match?
Yeah, but
so just keep it as singles.
But it was Rey winning the title for Eddie Guerrero. So do you have Rey and Orton do a singles match for the title?
Yeah, I'm okay with that. I mean, Orton can fucking hold it and make Rey look huge.
Yeah,
I've done it before.
I'm with you. I'm with you. I think that, or maybe you put Rey in a triple. No, I think Cena needed the win against Triple H.
Yeah, I think so too.
I'm with you. This would be my first pick as well. I would rebook this match to happen at WrestleMania.
I can't believe this was never a WrestleMania match.
Well, their match 1 month before this, which you can hear the entire build up at Classic Greenwich Classroom. Check it out. Their match 1 month before this is one of the best matches you'll ever see.
And one of not many matches between the two men.
They didn't have a lot.
Not a whole lot.
They didn't have a lot, but I'm telling you, Mike, and I'm going to say this specifically to you and to all of our people listening right now. If you have not watched their No Way Out match from 2006,
it is good. I've seen it. Yeah.
Go back and rewatch it. If you haven't watched it in a long time, I forgot how good it was.
Now think of that and then put the WrestleMania feel on it.
If you put that match at WrestleMania, people are going to say it's one of the greatest matches of all time.
This one and Mankind are the two people that I'm like, why did Taker ever face this guy at WrestleMania?
Mm-hmm.
These are the two people that, of all the people he could have fought at WrestleMania, and these two are not on that list. It's odd to me.
Mankind was just poor timing for a WrestleMania match, because they did, King of the Ring, SummerSlam, Survivor Series, October. They did the month after. You know what I mean? But you could have done Taker Sid the month after instead, right?
Absolutely. So how did I do overall? Is there anything that you think Anything you wouldn't have rebooked? Did I rebook anything that you
I
would
don't
have
think
rebooked instead?
I don't think I can go with your Vince one, losing Vince and Hogan.
Okay.
I don't think I can go with that one. I liked your Mankind one. I probably would have went with Shamrock instead of
really. So after all the build I gave it, you still don't like my Mankind at 15, eh?
I would have kept your exact same build.
So
I love
so what do you do with Mankind at 15? Do you keep him with Big Show?
Yeah, I think so. It made sense for the story.
See, and me, I
hated the match.
Big Show dirty.
Yeah, I agree, but
Big Show's only been in the company for a month. They should have been billing him as the biggest thing in the fucking world.
I agree.
He should have been
done Big Show and
people.
Could have done Big Show and
squashing people.
Yeah,
but he still loses. I want him. I want him to squash people for the first 6 months of his WWE, because he comes in, he looks kind of silly in the fucking St. Valentine's Day thing. He looks strong because he threw Austin through the cage, but he still kind of looks silly. And then you get to WrestleMania, and they don't. All they did with them was what? Vince turned on him by the end and had him arrested.
Yeah,
like it's not a great thing.
I'm gonna just put one out here, and I'm not saying that I would change it, but I just think there's a couple other options that you could have went with as well. And I'm gonna go to WrestleMania 7.
I was waiting for you to do this. I've given a lot of thought to it, and I stared at the card for a good period of time. Listen, Taker versus Snuka. It's not horrible.
No, it wasn't. And Snuka was a great name. Snuka was a big name, which is it looks good on the resume.
I think that's why I keep it. It's Taker's first win, and of course they had no idea about the streak at this time. Like it's not even a fucking small thought in Vince's brain yet. But in hindsight, going down the line, it's a good way to start it.
Yeah.
Snuka was already extremely established by WrestleMania 7.
I do have two names that I think you could argue to put in there. Number one, Tito Santana. You get a better match, I think, out of Tito with the same credibility with Snuka. Sure. And number two, but I think if they put him in this match, I think they would have maybe put him over. So it's a good thing they didn't. The British Bulldog.
Yeah. I think I don't know if we get the streak.
I don't think we get a streak if they drew that match, but I'm just saying in hindsight, I think that the Bulldog would have been the biggest check mark out of the resume. I'd say the Bulldog might be a bigger name than Snuka personally. That's a tough one.
Not in 1992.
Oh yeah, Bulldog.
Yeah, actually,
Snuka was at the end, right?
Yes. In 1992, Bulldog is a bigger name. Yes. Because Bulldog is in his prime in 92.
And also, while we're talking about WrestleMania 7, watch the Rockers versus the Faces of Fear. Such a great match. You could also sneak Coco Beware in there just because Taker hit him with the first tombstone ever, but it doesn't have the same.
True.
Snuka was bigger. Snuka was bigger.
You needed a big name. You really did.
Would you change his WrestleMania 17 match at all with Triple H?
No. Fuck no. It's my second favorite of the three matches.
Oh, yeah? Yeah, I'm looking at the card. I don't think there was anybody else.
No, absolutely not.
Every time I do Jay and Tyrone's show, like the Good Friends, Better Enemies, there's always like two really good guys or like one really good guy that's just kind of like the odd man out. And I feel like that's how Triple H and Taker were at this year's WrestleMania. They didn't.
If I was doing matches that I wouldn't touch at all, like not even consider touching, that's one of them.
It's a great match. I just was curious if there's anybody else because they didn't have a lot of time to build up the feud. So
17 and 28, those two matches with Triple H are both there. His match at 27 Triple H, weakest of the three, but it kind of still needs to be there to set up 28.
I don't know who else you put him with at 27 either.
True enough.
You can put him with Sheamus.
Both matches with Shawn can't be touched. His match with Randy can't be touched. His match with Batista can't be touched. His match with Orton or Edge can't be touched. These are all matches you don't move.
Yeah, I'm with you.
While it's not the greatest in the world, I don't change 8 at all.
I love 8. I wouldn't change it.
Him and Jay can't be touched.
Jay did a good rebooking of that as well. I'll give you a shout out. He put him with Ted DiBiase at 8 because they have the history of DiBiase bringing him into the company.
Sure, but I'm sorry. Did Jay not watch that fucking build?
Oh, I love the build. Yeah,
it's one of the greatest builds in WrestleMania history. I can't believe I didn't.
Whose side?
I can't believe I didn't talk. Oh man, how did I not do that?
Not yours. Not yours.
Yeah, man, that can't be touched. There's probably a few others I'm forgetting about. But I'm saying if we would have taken these 7 matches, if this was in the history, then nobody could touch. Like, we would not be calling Shawn Michaels for Mr. WrestleMania.
No.
Okay. While, yes, the streak is impressive, I will not put Taker on my top 5 best performers at WrestleMania because I think that I don't think his record is. I think he's had more bad matches than he has had good matches.
At Mania?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Or at least it's 50-50.
I would agree. I would have agreed with you.
And you look at the people they lined up. It's not exactly impressive.
I liked 7
until his last 6 or 7 years.
Yeah. I'd have to take a deep look into that. I don't know if I have no comment on that right now. Let's go with that.
I think we can both agree that while he should have faced Cena at some point, it may not have been. We didn't get the match we think we deserved. What year would you put John Cena and Undertaker?
I mean, I think they could have done it the year that they did it, just did it better.
Yeah, but Taker was in bad shape. I don't think Taker was in good shape, though. Isn't that the year after his match with Roman?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, he's not in good shape.
You could put them. Let me take a look here. And you can't do 29. I mean, you could have done them at 30.
Would you face at 30?
Brock.
Oh, yeah.
That's really the only time that it makes sense to do it, right? Because if you're looking like Cena.
What about 31? I mean, I like his match with Bray, but him and Cena would have been better.
Yeah, Cena, that would have worked too.
And Cena faced what, Rusev?
Yeah, that would have worked. That would have worked.
I think 31's the year that you do it.
Yeah, because you can't do it anything really before that. Because Taker's killing it with Shawn and Triple H for 5 years. Cena's doing his thing as a championship.
Even in Cena's younger years, I mean, okay.
Cena and Rock at 29. You can't.
Let's do something a little different here. You don't like my idea. You don't like my idea of Hogan. So what about 19? The Doc of Thugonomics, make it a name. He already did that stuff with Taker on SmackDown, right?
I don't think it happened yet. No, Cena was.
It did because he was doing he's already Dr. Thugonomics by now.
He just started it.
Wasn't he Ruthless Aggression Taker when he was doing this shit with Taker before?
Yeah, he was. Cena was Taker put over Cena when Cena debuted, in backstage. Good job.
Yeah. Oh, I guess. Oh, you're right. They did have a feud.
But Cena had only Cena. Yeah, that was later though. That was later in the year.
I do it in 19. I think I changed my mind. I think I like that match better because when I was looking at the match, Cena's not on the card, so I never thought of Cena.
Yeah, he was on, but that should say something also. Cena wasn't ready to be on the card yet.
I don't agree with that.
Dr. Thugonomics wasn't ready yet. It wasn't ready yet. I think it was too soon because Cena didn't really start building traction until the next month.
Undertaker will make you famous.
That's true. But the next month when Cena real got hot with that gimmick when he was cutting those hate promos against Brock. Because they had the match at Backlash. That's where he really took over.
And if they're gonna do it, the last WrestleMania of the American Badass, I like it, man. I think I'm moving towards that. Yeah,
I'd give you that one
because you can't do it at 20.
And I get to keep my Hogan match with Vince because I really don't want to see Hogan and Taker. It's fucking they were terrible. That's the only one I hated on your list. Everything else I liked.
All right.
I'll give you a pass this week. No fighting this week. You want to tell me to go fuck myself just because it's been 3 weeks?
It's our birthday. No, I'm behaving myself. Plus, you haven't pissed me off.
Well, it's our birthday. I'm being good.
Yeah, it's our birthday.
Well, next week we are going to bring Stone Cold Steve Bourne onto the show. We're gonna have. Yes, we have to. We love Steve. Mike's gonna get heat with you, Steve. Steve's gonna get heat with you now. Love Steve. I love Steve. He's got a great mind for the business. We got drunk as fuck last year when we did the show.
We did. I was really, I won't lie. When you first told me Steve was coming on the show, I was really excited. And then I realized, I'm like, wait, Steve. Oh, I mixed him up with Wilson. And when I found out it wasn't Wilson coming on the show, I was like, fuck.
What's wrong with Wilson?
I wanted Wilson.
Oh,
I'm pissed off at Steve.
Well, we all went to the same public school, so you're still getting the Maple Leaf connection.
Anyways, I'm fucking around. I love you, Steve. Can't wait to get you on the show. It's been a little over a year since you came on the show.
It's been exactly a year. He came on our WrestleMania Go Home show last year. It's like like your spot, Steve. That's your spot every year. I can't wait for that. I love when Steve messages me and I message him. We have great conversations. I can't wait to bring him on the show next week. I can't wait to see his list.
And he's got a new show too.
Yeah,
which we'll plug next week. We'll get Steve to tell you all about it.
Yeah, it's really good. Yeah. It's a nice little YouTube show, and I want Steve to tell us about it next week. It's really good. But check it out on YouTube. It's on his YouTube page. And
right. I think that's it.
I got nothing. I'm losing my voice. Yeah, I'm losing my voice. I'm out of water, and I got to wrap her up. I think the COVID's kicking.
I think it's time for you to go have more Buckley's.
Oh, no more Buckley's. No, I'm gonna take a piss, have a Halls, and go to bed. That's my night tonight.
All right.
That's what happens when you get old and you celebrate birthdays. You're in bed before fucking midnight.
That's it. Well, with that said, happy birthday, my friend. I couldn't imagine doing this with anybody else.
I try every week to imagine doing with anybody else, and it's never as good. Though. It's never as good.
You can say that because you've never had a podcast with Danny Parkhill.
That's fair.
I know what's on the other side.
Suck it, Danny.
If I thought for a second he listened to this fucking show, I'd give a message, but he's a piece of shit. So he actually texted me because a friend of the show, Holden Albright, put out there that he's like, "Hey, I'm in the mood to do podcasts. So anybody who has a podcast, fucking bring me on," and blah blah blah. And Danny sent me that like a screenshot of that tweet. I'm like, well, he's been on the show like 3 times. I said, I'm gonna let somebody else have him. He goes, oh yeah, I didn't know that. I'm like, of course you didn't fucking know that because you don't fucking listen to my show. You're a bad friend.
Bad friend, Danny. Bad friend.
We hope truly that Jan Murphy does not book him to tear down the house at Shinlock this year. Good Lord. All right. We're rambling now.
Danny's getting too much time. Take us home.
Way too much time. On behalf of 2 of the funnest, weirdest, strangest, annoying, fucking aggravating years of my life, and I wouldn't change a goddamn second of it. We, for the 105th or 6th time, we have been counted out. Here's to another 2 years.
Happy birthday. Cheers.